What's going on, YouTube? Back at you again with another video. JC Cowboys Network, you already know what it is. We had a big loss on Sunday, Cowboys Nation, but now it's time for us to bounce back. We're going to have Dak Prescott under center, and it's time to move forward. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss on fire videos. So Cowboys Nation, Week 7, let's boogie. Getting to know the enemy. Amon-Ra St. Brown, coming in at 6 foot and weighing in at 203 pounds. This is a wide receiver that is very versatile, who was drafted in the 4th round and walks around with a chip on his shoulder. A player that really came out of the gate the last 7 weeks of the season. Detroit may not know it yet, but he might be their best player. St. Brown is an athlete that the Detroit Lions are starting to really lean on. He is an athlete that has played all 3 wide receiver positions as well as the running back position in their offense. This is a player that is very competitive and he's very physical. He has a strong lower body and that helps him keep balance to break through would-be tackles. He is one of the wide receivers in the league that has a very high IQ when it comes to coverages. He has a good understanding of separating from man, and he knows where the soft spots are in zone coverages. So you gotta make sure you keep your eyes on this player. He is in his 2nd year, and he really turned it up last season, being tops in the league in receptions in the last 7 games of the season. A lot of people thought that this player thrived because of injuries, but I knew that this player was that good. Enemy number 2, Aiden Hutchinson, coming in at 6'7" and weighing in at 265 pounds. This is a player that was the 2nd overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. A player that has made some splash plays in a few of his games. It's early for this rookie, but Detroit is depending on this guy to be their cornerstone player for years to come. Aiden Hutchinson is an athlete that plays with good power, and coming out of college, he was one of the best at stopping the run. He plays with good technique, and he also has good hand usage, striking opponents and creating momentum with his explosive get-off. A lot of these are coverage sacks, but you could tell when this player gets it, he's going to be in the backfield disrupting quarterbacks in early. Detroit had a lot of players that was on the board last year, so they are praying that this player works out. He's a solid player, but I believe with Tyler Smith and Terrence Steele, we should be able to clamp this player down. St. Brown and Hutchinson are 2 top-tier guys that have the skill set to make a difference respectfully. But I don't think that'll be enough to slow down Dallas. But these are 2 guys that you have to build a game plan around and set our focus on. Now it's time to get into Jared Goff. This is a quarterback that has been on a journey in the NFL, being drafted the same year as Dak to the Rams and being traded to the Detroit Lions. He has had his splash games and he throws for a lot of yards, but he has proven that he can be irresponsible with the ball if you can get a hold of the run game. He looks like he has good command pre-snap, but once you get pressure on this player post-snap, he tends to look shook, and this is when this quarterback makes critical mistakes. This quarterback does have an arm. He knows how to throw the ball, and he has a knack for throwing for over 300 yards in games. But somehow it seems like something always goes wrong with this guy. So the blueprint on stopping this player is stopping the run and forcing this player to pass. And eventually he will fold, especially when he gets pressure. Welcome to the film room. Let's get to their run game. DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams are guys that are toting the rock in Detroit. These 2 running backs are power players, with Swift having a knack for making big plays, ripping up defenses on all angles of the field. Jamal Williams is a player that they use in short yard situations, as well as the red zone. So matching this team's physicality will be critical to finishing off Detroit. Having Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker out there, these guys are good players. They anchor well and they're pretty solid against the run, but they have questions in the pass game. So guys like Micah Parsons, Dorrance Armstrong, and DeMarcus Lawrence are going to have to get home. Scouting the coaches. Dan Campbell had to say this.
You got to like your matchups at the tackle position, which we do, man. I like Penei Sewell and I like Decker. And, you know, they'll move this guy a little bit. I do feel like he's going to be more on our right, so I think that Sewell will see a little bit more of him than Deck, but I like that. But even with that, man, we got to have an answer for this guy, and I think you got to disrupt him early. So we'll have, you know, I think we'll have some nudges, some bumps. We'll chip him with the back a little bit, but here's what we can't let him feel like this is the day he's going to have, because this is when he really excels. He's got a quick first step. He's long, explosive. He's probably one of the most elite athletes in our league, which is saying something. So we have to have an answer for him, and he can't feel like this is just going to be, let me tee it up and pass rush all day like one-on-ones. That would not be good for us.
Their coach Dan Quinn was a tight end on our team, so he understands that Jerry Jones and Will McClay understand talent. So having a guy like Micah Parsons out there, we know that they're going to try to chip this player. So Dan Quinn is going to have to pick this guy in all types of positions, not just the left end, not just the right end. You blitz this player between A gaps, B gaps, and just wreak havoc everywhere. Aaron Glenn is Detroit's defensive coordinator. This is a coordinator that is still trying to figure things out with their scheme. Being the 32nd ranked defense in the NFL, the tape shows he has a knack for being aggressive, and it is costing him big time. So there will be plays to be made out there for sure. With Dak Prescott, the time is now. There are no excuses. With Kellen Moore, he's going to have to run his basic plays and take shots when you need to. Run the ball and go out there and be explosive. And that is when Dak is at his best. Key matchups for the wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb versus Jeff Okudah. This is a cornerback that loves to travel. So if Lamb is playing at any of the wide receiver positions, look out for Okudah to be lined up against him. He is a guy that can match Lamb's skill set, but getting to the A's and B's with your route running can create separation from this player. It is extremely important for these wide receivers to go out there and really practice their route running. We have to build that chemistry with Dak, because the first game was not enough. He injured his thumb and he's been out the last 5 games. Dak is the type of quarterback that he needs wide receivers that are good route runners. He's not the best at throwing the ball, but he does enough to get it done. But going out there to go practice and doing their job and having good chemistry is going to be critical down the stretch. So if this team want to go out there and build that chemistry, it starts now. Opening the victory door. The whole front 7 is going to have to come out there and dictate this game. Being able to stop the run will have Jared Goff left to throw the ball. Detroit is good at the ground game, so it starts with the front 7. Dan Quinn will have his work cut out for him against this high-powered offense, but I believe he gets it done. Cowboys Nation, I believe that this team can take the Detroit Lions out, but we cannot sleep on this team. They have a lot of skilled players, and we have to go out there and play our game. So Dan Quinn and Kellen Moore, they're going to have to bounce back this game. Offense, defense, and special teams. We're going to have Dak Prescott back, but we have to go out there and run basic plays, run the ball. If it's waggles, hitch plays, screens, basic plays to keep the playbook wide open, and eventually take your shots, because we know Dak Prescott loves to take his shots. I'm so happy to have this player back, but we got work to do. But I know this team can get to 5-2, but this team is going to have to grind for it, all right? So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe so y'all can come vibe. You already know what it is. Gone.